Welcome back to Frederick Advice Givers, episode 132 with my buddy Ryan Diener with Holistic Health here in Frederick on West Patrick Street. Actually, right behind us where we're filming this today is where I went to middle school. So West Frederick Middle is right behind here. China Gardens over here. If you're a Frederick resident, I know you know where China Gardens and West Frederick is. So they're 2, 3. How many doors up?
2 doors up from Frederick Middle.
Yeah. 2 doors up, West Frederick Middle on the right, going out of town. Thrilled to have Ryan back. He joined us for episode 95 on Frederick Advice Givers. Now that we've got the new video format, I want to get Ryan back on here so we can tell you a little bit more about Holistic Health, his story, and help Holistic Health share their story. So Ryan, for our audience that didn't listen to episode 95, first of all, I suggest you go back and listen to episode 95. It was one of the best we did so far. But for those that don't know you and Holistic Health, tell us your story.
Sure. So thanks for having me on, first of all. Happy to be here. So my name's Ryan Diener, as you said. I grew up in Baltimore County, played a lot of sports when I was younger, always into health, interested in healthy eating, even at a pretty young age. And moved out to Frederick around 2004, started working here as an acupuncturist. Quickly saw that, the field of acupuncture and massage therapy and nutrition had a huge role to play in our healthcare system. And I was so excited to get out and start actively promoting some of the things that we could do in these fields. But one of the things that I quickly found out is that this is a weird field. This is a strange thing for a lot of people. And so, knowing how much we could help the healthcare system and what kind of role we could play in helping some of the people in our community, we just wanted to make sure that we could get to a point where we were big enough to fill some of the gaps in the healthcare system. That's one of the main things that we feel like we can do at Holistic Health, is take some of you in the community who aren't being served in a way that really is helping your health and really fill some of those gaps for you. So that was one of the main things that we saw, one of the main things that drove Holistic Health into this bigger place. And that, coupled with the fact that coming out of school, there aren't really any professional opportunities
right.
for people in this field. That was a major driver for us because, we got out of school, we didn't have any business training, we didn't know how to start a business, we didn't know anything about what this took. And, for a lot of other people in our field, I felt like it'd be an important thing to create an opportunity, professional opportunities for them. And this is one of the other driving force that brought us to where we are today.
So you're speaking of schooling.
Uh-huh.
What type of schooling did you have to get to this point?
Yeah, sure. So for me personally, acupuncture, herbal medicine, you start with an undergraduate degree in some science-related field.
Okay.
I was a pre-med major. So I was a biology major. You could be a physics major. You could be any of the life sciences, heart, or the physical sciences. Then there's a 4-year master's level program. So most master's programs, as you know, are about 2 years. So the Chinese medicine is 4 years long. You get a lot of herbal training. You get a lot of specifics about how to do needlework and in a safe way. And so we spend 4 years going to school on top of your undergrad degree.
Gotcha. All right, so tell us your origin story and how would you describe yourself personally?
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, I grew up in Baltimore County. Great family, very tight-knit family. We had 40 people at our Thanksgiving dinners, and we had, once a year we have a winter holiday party, and there's literally 40 to 50 people at it, and it rotates from one house to the next of all the cousins. So it's an awesome upbringing. Played a lot of sports when I was younger, as I said. And
what sports?
I played baseball, wrestled, played football.
Okay.
Believe it or not, even though I'm only 5'6".
Well, yeah, but you're scrappy, right?
So yeah, scrappy, small high school.
Right.
And so I enjoyed it. I did martial arts when I was younger,
okay.
and so I enjoyed doing all those things, and I was into health. But I also grew up in a kind of midway between a conservative and a liberal family. But I had one family member, black sheep of the family. I mean, how do you get into a field like acupuncture? Growing up in a kind of typical American family, tight-knit. I had one family member who was the black sheep of the family, my aunt, and she was really into New Age philosophy, New Age culture, esoteric stuff. I mean,
so a few years ago, we would have called her a hippie.
Oh, big time, big time.
Okay.
Yeah, big time. And at 12 and 13 years old, she was reading my astrological chart. We were doing tarot readings. I had a past life regret, all kinds of new age stuff that, most 12, 13, 14-year-olds wouldn't do. And I think, more than she was the first person that taught me how to meditate. And I think more than anything else, that was something that just opened up my mind a little bit into some other possibilities. And so, coming out of pre-med and looking at what do you want to do with your life? And for whatever reason, medicine just felt limiting to me. And so I just started looking, doing, worked with a physical therapist, worked with a podiatrist, worked with a chiropractor, worked with anybody that I could in the health-related field. Nothing was just grabbing me. And I read a book on acupuncture, and I just couldn't put it down. So Chinese medicine for me married health, and it married some of these bigger picture kind of ideas. And looking at the body as a whole, looking at people holistically, it just was so much more exciting for me. And that's what drove me down the path.
So how long has this facility that we're sitting at been around?
So Holistic Health, we started in 2005.
Okay.
I had worked here for a couple of years in a kind of a co-op, which is what most people do in this field. And then in 2005, Denise Ordonio and myself, we joined forces. We were both in this co-op, and we said, there's a better way to do this. There's got to be a better way, but we couldn't find anybody doing it. We just couldn't find an actual practice that was just alternative medicine, complementary medicine. And so 2005, we moved into a place on the 300 block of Patrick Street, started there, worked there for 7 years, and then in 2013, we moved to this facility here.
Awesome. All right, so I want to loosen it up a little bit now.
Yeah.
Let's get to know you personally a little bit better. What's the last purchase that you splurged on, either for yourself or your family?
Well, I'm pretty tight, as most people that know me know, but we love snow sports. Okay. And my son's 6 years old. He just started skiing last year, and man, it is awesome to watch. So now it's we couldn't wait. Last weekend actually, we went up to Seven Springs, and we got a place right on the mountain, on the lodge, ski out deal, and it was awesome. I mean, it was
How many kids?
One son, 6 years old.
Awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So as we're filming this today, you guys can't see off camera here, but Anthony, my oldest, is home from school today. We recently went skiing for our first time a couple weeks ago too.
Awesome.
Yeah, they had a blast.
A lot of fun, right?
Exactly.
A lot of fun.
All right. So what hobby or interest could you spend hours doing?
Well, we just referred to it. I love snowboarding.
Right.
I started as a skier and switched to snowboarding. My wife didn't know any snow sports, and she wanted to learn how to snowboard. And I said, all right, it's going to be boring if I'm just skiing with her. So I learned how to snowboard, and now I'm hooked. I just love it. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Ryan. So when you wake up in the morning, what's that drive inside of you? What gets you up pumping? What's getting your blood flowing in the morning?
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, I'll tell you, what we do is so rewarding. When I come to work, we see people, and they almost every day somebody says to me, wow, what an experience this has been. I can't believe it took me so long to try this. You've changed my life. You've changed my family's life. I'm so glad that you guys are here in the community. There's no better driving force than that. I mean, to be totally honest with you, I love coming to work. I mean, I know people just don't, want their weekends, and I love my weekends. Don't get me wrong. I love my family, but man, it's a very rewarding job to be in, and it's just great to wake up in the morning knowing I'm coming here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now you and Denise are doing beautiful things here. You guys are great business owners. What's one piece of advice or shortcut that you could give another entrepreneur or business owner that you guys have found in your years that can maybe help propel them to where you guys are today?
Great. I'll tell you, this is a lesson that I still deal with today. And we've been in business now for 13 years. We've learned a lot of things along the way, but just taking the leap and doing something. If it doesn't feel perfect, if it feels like it's a little bit less quality than what you want to put out, just get it going. Just get it started. Right. Let the momentum carry it, and then make your adjustments from there, and get to your final product. Even if it's not where you start. And that's one of the things that even today we still deal with. Maybe we need to strategize a little bit more. Maybe we need. And honestly, every time we just start something, it's just so much smoother. And even though it may not be perfect at the beginning, you got to get started.
And that's, that's one thing that that I've found owning business and business is actually doing it. Go out there and do it, and then you can adjust on the fly. Yes, you want to have a game plan and a business strategy and all that kind of fun stuff, but until you actually do it, you don't know those hurdles that you're going to overcome.
Yeah.
Your partner Denise is a member of the Impact Club.
That's right.
In Frederick. Just last night, this is going to air in a few weeks. We donated $22,200 to the Whole Heart Center.
That's awesome.
We transitioned. We've been for a year collecting payments one way. We transitioned to an online payment, and we could have waited till the second quarter to push it out. And there were hiccups along the way, but it's everything in life is a learning experience. So just do it.
That's right.
Right?
Just do it.
Exactly.
My wife works for Nike, so
Does
that's,
she really?
that's a common phrase in our household.
Oh my God, all right. On the flip side, what's one piece of advice that somebody gave you along your journey that didn't work out like they expected it to?
There's been a lot. There's been quite a few. The one that immediately comes to mind is when I first started out and we were kind of getting built up. Everyone talked about hiring people. Get people in there to help you, and help support things along the way. But we didn't know we didn't know how to manage people. We didn't know what it took to actually manage. And so what we found is even though it's true that the more you can delegate and the more you can offload, the better the more you can accomplish. Sometimes at the very beginning, you just have to stick your head down and do it, And so we actually hired people too early, which was an interesting dichotomy from where a lot of people go in business. Most times people hire too late and they're overwhelmed. We actually did it a little too early, I think. And so there's a fine line between, when you are ready to make that leap.
So did you pull back and release those people and then start over again, or did you just learn to grow with it?
We just learned to grow with it.
Got it.
Yeah, we just learned to grow with it. And look, in the end, it's not a regret. We learned a lot from it, and we're in a different place, I'm sure, than we would have been if we hadn't gone this direction. But I know that those first few years were really tough financially.
Right.
And so a lot of that was because, I didn't want to hire somebody and then let them go. We felt connected to them. This is a family here.
Right.
Everybody that works here feels connected to our brand, connected to as a group. And that's just part of our culture. And so that started from the beginning.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So in the last 3 years, what's a choice that you made that's led us to sitting here today?
Well, actually, the room we're sitting in right now is something that was rented out. I mean, this was a separate business, separate facility. We're in a separate building in the back, and all our services run out of the back. Our pharmacy runs out of the back. Everything that we do for people runs out of the back. Except I wanted a classroom space. I needed a space where we could do movement therapy, where we could help people with their nutrition that we didn't have time to do one-on-one necessarily, and we needed a more, a deeper way of delving into some of these components. And so, and cooking, I mean, gosh, I can't tell you how many people we wanted to help, and we said, you just eat some of these green vegetables. I've never eaten those before. I don't even know how to do it. So I wanted a kitchen classroom, basically, and we labored over the decision, but about 3 years ago, we went for it, and we said we're going to renovate that space and we're going to build this kitchen classroom, and here we are. And now our classes started a month ago, and we are offering weekly classes to the community right now. So,
love it.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so I've interviewed your episode 132.
Mm-hmm.
So I've sat across the table or across the mic from 131 other entrepreneurs and business owners and heard their story. I get to learn so much from asking you questions. I want to flip the script here. I want you to ask me a question. Anything.
Oh, fantastic. Happy to do that. That's a great twist. So, well, I'm actually kind of curious. So you own a lot of businesses, and in the community, I think a lot of people look up to you. It's really fantastic, all the things that you've been able to accomplish. I know I'm just in awe of the number of things that you're doing. So in let's say 5 years, if everything went your way to where you wanted it to be, what would your role look like in business, in the community? What is your vision? Where do you see yourself going?
Well, number one, the Impact Club, as I mentioned earlier, growing that. So that's our way to give back to local charities, $100 each member each quarter at a time. So that's going to have a huge impact in Frederick. Business wise, personally, turning into more of a CEO role, getting out of the day-to-day activities, and where we're really growing with Frederick Advice Givers. And the reason we're doing the video now is to provide a platform for other business owners to share their story. I don't know if you know Gary Vaynerchuk.
Sure.
He's CEO of VaynerMedia. I want
Your videographer is named after his.
Exactly. J-Rock. J-Rock, exactly. So I want to do what Gary's doing on a local level. So I want to help businesses. So my goal, I help individuals in my real estate business. I help local charities in Impact Club. Now my goal is to help local businesses with Frederick Advice Givers.
That's awesome.
So
Fantastic.
That's where we're looking to go.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool. That's a good question. I like that. All right. So what failure or loss has helped mold you into, and it can be personally who you are today. It can be business-wise. We can kind of go in any direction here.
I think when I was young, I think I remember distinctly having a moment where kids are kids are cruel. You're getting made fun of, something like that. And I remember there was a moment that clicked for me when I said to myself, if you show fear, they're gonna come after you. This is not gonna stop. You know what I mean? If you show kind of weakness, this is gonna keep going. And I remember distinctly making a decision in that moment that no matter how uncomfortable I was in a situation, I was gonna hold myself in a position of strength and be able to, just withstand some of the difficulties of life. And to this day,
mental or physical?
This was mental.
Okay.
This was on a mental level. It's and I think that for kids today, that's the biggest thing. You see bullying happening today more on a mental level than on a physical level, I think. And so I think it's just really important to just be confident in who you are and know that you're not perfect and nobody's perfect, and that's okay. Right. And as soon as you make that decision, it changes your whole life, and it has for me for sure.
Yeah, and everybody's got weaknesses, and even though the strongest people present themselves a certain way, they still have the inner doubts.
100%.
Right. It's kind of funny. The biggest bullies, they're the ones with the biggest self-doubt.
Yeah.
Is what I found.
Yeah, I think that's totally true.
All right, Ryan. So where do you see yourself in holistic health in 3 years and then in 10 years?
So we have big plans. I mean, holistic health, I think that what we've been able to accomplish in the time that we've been here and what the value that we think we bring to the community is something that we just want to replicate. Okay. And so in 3 years, I see us helping other alternative medicine practitioners by going in and being basically their backbone and being able to create essentially a replication of holistic health in some of the surrounding areas locally. Okay. I think in the next 3 years, we're going to be able to really have a huge impact and in this field, but also in the healthcare system in general. Just that little where you start to be recognizable, not just because you have one space, but now we're kind of spread a little bit throughout the state. And right. that's a big goal of ours over the next 3 years. And in 10 years, we expect to be regional. Okay. And so that's our goal is to, we have big plans. These are not easy things to do. I think, we talk about it. It's kind of like, oh yeah, we just want to have a couple more locations. It's a huge undertaking. And anybody that has had employees or tried to have multiple businesses right. like you do, it's not an easy thing to do. And but I think that what we can provide in the culture and the types of things, and we're not alone. I mean, there's other great healthcare facilities right. out there that are doing some great things. But in this alternative medicine space, I think we've really figured something out, and I think that we really can have a huge impact. And so that's what we're going for.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Any final words for our audience, Ryan?
Final words. I mean, I guess just here we are in downtown Frederick.
How would we get a hold of you?
You can get us at hhamd.com is our website. Facebook, we are on as Holistic Health Associates business page. We are shooting out different offers, different ideas, different just value-added health tidbits all the time.
Okay.
You can call us at 301-620-1414 if you have any specific questions. We've got a great team of people that can answer your questions, and would love to hear from you. We'd love to be able to help you in your health needs and be able to make you feel better and get energized and take life by the horns.
Love it. Ryan, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Listeners, viewers, episode 132 of Frederick Advice Givers, my buddy Ryan Diener with Holistic Health Associates here in Frederick. Check them out, and we are out.